Satoshi Tajiri grew up in Machida, Tokyo. He liked collecting insects and he liked games enough that he was the managing editor of his own creation, the fanzine Game Freak. He worked as a designer on games like Legend of Zelda, Yoshi, and Mario and Wario, which gave him enough pull within Nintendo for the idea of his new game to be heard. See, Satoshi realized that children were spending more time indoors, so a video game based on collecting different forms of wildlife seemed like a niche concept. He wanted to use the newly designed Game Link cables to have a player trade with other players for a complete collection. Now this is where the revolution happened. On April 23, 1989, the fanzine was turned into a game company, though it was still called Game Freak. Long hours and very little money had 5 of the already small staff leave, and 1/3 of the franchise rights had to be sold to Creatures Inc. just to keep a roof over the heads of people at Game Freak. Satoshi Tajiri named the protagonist of the series after himself, and his rival was named after Satoshi's real-life mentor and friend, Shigeru Miyamoto. Yeah, that Shigeru Miyamoto. Well, 6 years later, Tajiri and his very small crew had finished what is now known as Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green. The pair of games held the entire portable gaming world in their hand. Even today, nothing in gaming history has had the impact that Pokemon has had. While Japan was enjoying the introduction of what would become a multi-billion-dollar property, the week of February 27, 1996 was introducing Jackie Chan to American movie audiences. The Game Boy was already on its last legs by that point, and the Super Nintendo system was being replaced by the Nintendo 64. No one expected the phenomenon which followed. The marketing machine saw a golden opportunity, and 7.5 months later, Pokemon Blue was released in Japan as a mail-away offer. Now, exporting games to America was done, but really not to anywhere near the extent that it is now. And for reasons I can only assume are purely financial, Pokemon was to be exported to North America. Well, unstable programming made a direct port impossible, so the new program of Pokemon Blue was used for the translation, while the location and availability of individual Pokemon from the original Red and Green were the ones that were used. On September 28, 1998, the #1 movie in North America was Rush Hour. Both the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC had debut albums in the top 12, and rumors of a secret marriage between Britney and Justin were flooding the radio waves. Now that day, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue were released in North America, and I'm not sure as to why Pokemon Green was replaced with Blue, though my guess is actually the color scheme. See, Red and Green are very unnerving colors beside each other, and tend to create a very uneasy feeling. It's actually the reason why Freddy Krueger is dressed the way he is. Red and blue are still strong colors, but there's much less aggression between them. At the same time, North American audiences were bombarded with the introduction of the anime series, which premiered September 8, 1998, a full 3 weeks before Pokemon Red and Blue hit the shelves. For the next full year, Pokemon ruled all.
Actually, I have a rash and it hurts when I squirtle.
If you want to know which video games changed the face of what you're playing, destroyed convention, and took control of the imagination of the entire planet, then look no farther than the game that started the revolution. The game that lit the torches, the game that threw itself into the face of the world and told you what you needed to be playing. Together, let's grit our teeth and jump into the mosh pit of the walkthrough that is the single greatest iconic force in the history of video games for any system. Let's jump to Pokemon. Oh, yeah. Let's start with my favorite Pokemon game in the series. The game that takes the Molotov cocktail and puts it in an Avion bottle. Designer jackboots, dry erase placards. This is the Cellophane revolution. This game is what happens when you sell the revolution to the world. I'm Rev, and together we're going to walk through Pokemon Special Pikachu Edition.